What's going on, everybody? We've got JT here, we've got C-Will, and this is the next block. We have a fantastic episode. We've got our guests over at Vendible. Vendible is a privacy-preserving network, and I'm super excited to talk to them. David, unfortunately, can't be with us. He's getting his car work done, but he will be in the live chat. Everybody joining us in the chat, hit us up with some questions, hit us with a like button, hit us with a subscribe button if you aren't subscribed already. I'll pass it off to C-Will real quick. How you doing? And then we'll bring on our guests.
I'm well, man. Having a daily internet issue, but here we are. We made it. But really excited for what Vendable is about to talk about today. A great guest. So I'm ready to do it. Let's get the show on the road.
Absolutely, let's do it. So we have Gwen Scott and Christian Bronze. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Beautiful. How you doing today?
Awesome, guys.
Yeah, really great. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Nice. Yeah, very happy to have you guys here. Why don't we start off? I know you guys have been on my show. We've been doing a lot of things. Vendable is really out there in the ecosystem currently, making themselves known. But I'm sure there's some people tuning in that aren't aware about what Vendable is. So why don't we just start off with a little background on what Vendable is and what your roles within it is?
Yeah, that sounds great, and really appreciate you guys having us. I've been so excited to be part of this that I've been on for 8 hours backstage. I'm sorry, 4 hours backstage, thinking it was at a different time. So it's always great to connect with you guys. And I think Doug has been sick, so he is not joining us. But I'm, Gwen Scott, co-founder, COO of Vendable, and we're really excited to delve in what we're doing specifically with our private key recovery solutions, and what that means to you guys, what that means for adoption, what that means for security and privacy. So let's we can build on that.
Yeah, my name is Christian Brands. As you said, I'm head of community for Vendable, and what we're currently focusing on is Trustable, the launch of our key recovery and protection service. We're having a community that's growing in a fast pace. So it's very interesting to meet all the new spaces that are coming in, new faces that are coming in from the Algorand community, but also from other chains. So getting a real international and cross-chain mix in our community.
Absolutely. Oh, C-Will, you're muted. Boom.
No, I was going to say, so you said trustable. Can we start there with trustable and breaking down what trustable is and what's the use case for trustable?
Yeah, so and that's a good point, because the company Vendible Labs really was the whole point on Vendible Labs is our decentralized identity foundational layer, and the first product that has come out of that has been what we're branding Trustable, which is our private key recovery solution, and it has nothing to do with managing keys. It's all very, very private. This is all about key recovery and asset protection, just making sure that you have a peace of mind about this, because we know one of the biggest roadblocks to adoption with DeFi adoption is just that. It's just key recovery and solution and protection, and look forward to drilling down on exactly how we do that with whether it's with our biometric solutions and our intense questioning on ZK proofs and threshold encryption. So the security side of it's very important, but for all of our integrations, everything's meant to be just very very seamless and secure and private.
Yeah, so how about we jump right into that, honestly? So how does it work? So say somebody like me wants to protect my keys, what do I have to do? And I'll fix my camera in a second, but what do I have to do in order to, sign up, and, what do I have to prove in order to recover those keys?
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so it's really simple. It's a process that's similar to what people know and sometimes fear from a KYC process. But in this case, you're not handing over that data to us, but you're storing it in the identity vault that we're creating for you. And this identity vault really becomes your anchor within the Web3 world. to recover a key that you store, which is attached to this identity vault, you run through the same biometric scan again. And on top of that, there's a couple of different questions that we ask you that only you should know. So in case someone with some high tech would fake your biometrics, which is very hard to do, but no system is foolproof, they'll have to have that as well. So yeah, it's really as simple as that. It sounds simple, but to do it in a way where we don't actually see that data and we don't actually touch your biometric data, your seed phrases, that's a challenging part. And we've managed to do that with the help of our cryptographers. So it was really a full Web3 piece of technology in that sense.
And it's really the next iteration, sorry, Cyril, of KYC, KYB. We don't really want to know anything about, who you are. So that term is somewhat contradictory. And what we're terming that is UID validation, unique identity validation, which is how we're terming it, which is kind of like a KYC 3.0, if you will. There's a lot more comprehensive. It's a lot more to it than that. And it's portable, and you carry it with you. So those are, that's kind of why we're terming it the unique ID, validation.
So what kind of biometrics are we talking about? Are we talking like, face scans like you open up your iPhone with, fingerprints, or are there options that you can choose from? What kind of biometrics are we talking about?
Yeah, it's facial scans, facial recognitions. We're not at the fingerprint or iris level yet. And by the way, that is an outsourced solution for us through our partner with Onfido, which is one of the worldwide leaders in this space, and we have a great relationship with them. So we're relying on them to have that direct access to a user because we have to be out of the picture on that. So we're expecting them to continue to refine that process and really make upgrades on a pretty continual basis so that we're true to our cause.
Yeah, and for clarity, we're asking them to forget everything that they see from our customers as well. So they do the one-time scan, it gets attached to the identity vault, and we ask them to forget all of that data as well. And obviously, they can never link it to what we store it to. After the process is done, we know that there's a unique person, and the identity vault has some different values attached to it, but you are the only one that has the keys to that. You're the only one that can enable another app or someone to access the data that belongs to that key vault, that identity vault.
Okay, let's set this scene up a little bit. So I'm new to crypto. I just activated my Algorand wallet. How do I get aware that Trustable is available for me? And then how do I use it? Do I sign up on my phone, start the facial scanning and whatnot, and then if I want to go get my keys back later, can we go through that whole process as a new person?
Yeah, there's two ways currently. One is direct through us, through Trustable. If you happen to heard of us, you can get the Trustable service once it's launched. And that would mean that you go through us and you would say, this is my wallet, and you would go through a couple of simple steps to get this verification done, and then your seed phrase would be protected and stored inside that vault. But what we're also doing is integrating with different wallets. So you might have seen that yesterday we announced a partnership with Para, which we're really happy with. We want to make things as simple as possible for everyone. So if someone's already using the Para wallet, we don't want them to have to leave to another app to solve that. So well, it remains to be seen how exactly this integration will look inside the wallet. It should be as simple as using the wallet, getting the option to protect your seed phrase with Trustable, clicking it, and then flowing through the process. That's the intent.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I think more integrations would be better for a product like this. I do want to circle back to something you just said a little while ago. John Mazzoni tuning in from NFTs has a decent question. You mentioned basically the phrase, asked to forget my KYC data. So how could you verify the data at that point? Like if the systems forget the data, how do you still verify it?
I'm just reading the question here.
Or I guess maybe a better way to phrase it is how does Vendible, verify the data without seeing any of it and without it being like, just open for people to, find your data?
Chris, do you want to jump into that a little bit on maybe, I know there's the ZK proofs and the threshold encryption, which we can get into to answer John's question.
Yeah, it's something that's surpassing my technical level as well. So,
it's too bad.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's too bad we don't have
Doug's the technical guy, isn't he? Yeah.
He is, yeah. So I could get into this, but I don't want to give the wrong answer to this. So we'll get into this in the comments and give the detailed description of how that works. But it definitely works, with them forgetting it, and once you run it the second time, we're able to make sure that you are you.
Fair enough.
Can y'all answer about like what ZK proofs are? Because not everyone does know what that is, and just a quick breakdown of what that is and the value.
Yeah. Go ahead, Doug. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, no, ZK proofs are basically a way to get an answer from someone else without actually, revealing any data to the other party about this. So it's a nice mathematical trick, cryptography trick to make sure that, yes, absolutely certain that this answer is correct and it's coming from the right person, and without having to have that process all out there.
JT, your audio.
I think you're muted. Yeah.
I'm not sure if this helps, but John clarified his question a little bit. So the question being, if OnFido is asked to forget the KYC data, then how would a regulator or something go to OnFido and get the KYC info for that user if they requested it or needed it, or if they needed to prove KYC for users for something?
Well, the KYC process is, or our unique ID process is really that person goes directly to OnFido for that, and they're the ones that are verifying it. So it bypasses us. We're not storing anything. All that's via IPFS, and so that process would go directly through OnFido directly, and that would validate them to make sure that the person they say who they are, that they're a real person, that they have their unique ID, they're not under duress, they're not, there's nothing kind of fishy about them. So it's all about making sure that they have unique, validation, and that that person is who they say they are.
Yeah, and for us, it's important that we know that it is a unique person within the system, within the ecosystem. It doesn't matter who they are or where they are from. We just want to know that there's no two Gwynns, and that Gwyn is actually Gwyn and he's alive. The other data is irrelevant to us and to our system.
That makes sense.
You got me thinking about names. Just like know that there's two Glenns. So my government name Beyond C Will is so common that in every database that I'm always in, there's 10 to 12 of us at all times. So I'm always having trouble with verification, right? So this product here, Vendible, should possibly help with that, because we'll be using biometric scams and things of that nature. So is that a way then, I'm guessing, to help a person like myself out?
Yeah, and obviously your ID will be unique to you and not to the others. But yeah, the biometric helps as well, and it cross-checks that with the image that's on the ID. There's a whole part of that is done by Ofido, and they go into great detail how they do this verification. But yeah, there will not be any conflict between having 2 of you or 3 of you, or mixing you up with the other one with the same name.
Yeah, okay.
And see, well, there's obvious document recognition as well. Like, hey, here's your driver's license or passport. So you're not, there's not going to be any discrepancy there. And yeah, and that's just another, that's the kind of the first point of entry for that document, validation too.
Okay. Can we talk about a few other things now? I always like to talk about revenue models and all that. Y'all have the VEN token coming, right? Can you, break down what's the utility of the token, and also talk about a little bit more revenue, like what is Trustable's prices and stuff like that?
Yes. So the market strategy for Trustable is, direct through users, and we know we have to have the educational process to make sure we cross that chasm to really simplifying what we do, so that really we don't even really need to use the word blockchain. We just want to make sure people know that they're secure and they're protected. And the market is out there. There's a lot of wallets. There's about 90 million wallets plus through Statista. And I think that number is bigger. And we have different assumptions, Will, on kind of average key or account at kind of 3 to 5 per wallet. I know that kind of ranges. We talked to a guy earlier today, and he had 27 wallets. And some of those are for testing, of course, but he does want several of those protected, and within each of those there's governance and NFTs and asset protection in each of those. So that just wanted to paint a picture on kind of what the market size is for that. The go-to-market strategy, as Chris said, is through our wallet integrations. So Para being the first, and just there's a whole list of others: MetaMask, Phantom, Exodus, just really going across the board with all those. And it's really just a question of getting into our, getting in their roadmap and making sure they understand what sort of API integration is required, making sure that it's very easy, simple, because a lot of people that once there's more and more adoption, that they don't want to have to, it can't be complex, right? So there has to be that. So that's the strategy. And the pricing side of it is really a more of a fee type basis, which is on a per key type basis. So that we're right now still working through to figure it out, but it's kind of around $3 to $5 to $7 per key per year. And so it's meant to be really a non-barrier to wanting to protect and recover your seed phrases in your key accounts. So it's not a monthly subscription thing. It's meant to be a low cost so that people aren't having to really think about it. And it's seamless. So it's a little bit like an insurance policy. By the way, we do have that coming as well with Adam at Nimble. So as well as trust services. So if you wanted to provide beneficiary services to your parents or brother or somebody like that, you can do so. And again, that's what we are calling kind of more of a premium solution. But to answer your question, kind of a fee-based, per year subscription basis. And we have a lot of different iterations to that could be lifetime and that. But Chris, do you want to add to that?
Yeah. That's also where the VEN token comes into play. The VEN token will be staked when people start doing stuff. So the VEN token will be going hand in hand with the services that we provide, so the trustable service being our first product. So the utility will be locked in there. Besides the event token, we're also looking for our NFT IBL or IBL city holders to have participation in governance and in our DAO treasury. So they'll be able to receive other digital assets such as BTC, ETH, ALGO, whatever comes in through the services that we sell. We expect to have a lot of users on these key protection services. As Gwyn said, the market is really great. There's a potential for millions of users there, and we hope that we can convince people to get that. But through those wallet integrations, we're definitely getting up to the right speed.
And we're getting the registrations, guys, on testnet. Sorry, JT. Right now we're at 34,000 on testnet registrations. That's been growing, exponentially each day. So our initial goal was 50,000 before we maybe open it up more, because we don't want to just stop there. And that's we're surpassing our goals. We're also the IBL City NFT sales are they're not viral, but they're just very methodical, and they're going gradually up, which we like, because we on Discord we have these 1 through 7 kind of IBL City advocates and community members that are engaged, that are really kind of what I'll just call our ambassadors. And it's really great to have that extended reach too. But yeah, we just got to keep growing, and obviously the community is a huge part of that, as you guys know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this all ties into a couple questions that we have in the chat. So, Crypto for Change, David's tuning into the chat, and he's asking when testnet. And then the next question that we have here is, can somebody break down the IBL or IBL City NFTs and how it connects to Vend and the testnet? And I know it all, wraps up nicely together. So I figure I'll just have that as a combined question.
Yeah, real quick, Chris, I'll let you go on the NFT. On the testnet, we want to hit that milestone of the 50,000. I never like giving hard dates. It seems like it never works.
Right.
But it's imminent, and we would probably open that up, in November, just to be safe, and then we'll just keep, we'll start the testing process, from there before we go to mainnet. So, the goal is to get, is to test, go through audits on testnet, and then a certain, way through testnet to open source, and have everybody just continue to, to try it out, and so that we're not live before going to mainnet.
Yeah, and as Gwyn said, that's the intent. Obviously, with development, things can always be delayed, so we don't want to announce a date and later have to change that. We also don't want to announce announcements. We're trying to refrain from that. But yeah, it's a matter of a couple of weeks before we get into actual testing. From a dev side, we're looking at it's looking great, but there can be something in the final moment that happens that it sets you back a couple of weeks. Regarding the breakdown of the NFTs, we actually do have a pricings and benefits calculator. We can link that as well. So if you just register for testnet, I think off the top of my head, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 300 Vend that you get if you participate. Obviously, to claim that Vend, you'll have to prove your uniqueness as well. We're not going to allow bots to harvest this Vend. And if you're brave enough to buy an NFT, you'll get at least 1,200 Vend for participation in chatnet. So that increases, but that increases also with the number of NFTs that you have and the level that you get. So currently, we've released a couple of series of these NFTs. They're all from the level 1 tier, so everyone has the same value. So whether you buy it on Algo or on Polygon or other chains where we'll release them as well, they have the same utility and the same value. you can combine these NFTs to get to higher tiers, and we'll be launching a merging tool to combine these NFTs into higher levels, and those higher levels will get you more rewards. And will also get you into the DAO Treasury bonus. So yeah, it pays off to get more of these NFTs, but normal participation, it's not obliged to buy an NFT. You can just normal participate. You'll get Vend, you'll get to test the product before it goes out, and we really want to have that at least at 50K, and maybe we go above and beyond that, Quinn, as a testnet base, because we want to get as much feedback as possible. We constantly want to improve the service for, it should be as simple as possible. It should be as flawless as possible. And we'll need that feedback from everyone to really, make those last few % of improvement before we go out. So we do want to reward people that get in early and participate in this.
It's kind of like they're vesting with us, they're growing with us. I mean, if you have a short-term mindset with us and you have kind of a flipping sort of mindset, then it's almost like maybe you can go somewhere else to do that. But we really want you, the community, to grow with us and have kind of, skin in the game. And then that has kind of intermediate to longer term, rewards and benefits. So I think it's great that we, the community sees, and all you guys see the, the benefits of what we're doing and really grow with it, because there is a return there on that investment and on that, and on that engagement and participation factor.
Oh yeah, this looks amazing. So kudos to y'all and the team over there. I saw something that really poked out to me as well: the air quality and air pollution portion of it. Is this like a charity aspect, or like, can you break down that portion of? Yeah, there we go. Portion of the proceeds goes to clean air initiatives. Do you guys have other clean air initiative partners, and like, how does this part of the process work?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have a. I was just talking about our community engagement here in Memphis with some other community advocates like Gov.Algo, and we were talking about doing some community work with like St. Jude Hospital here in Memphis, which is an international brand on the give back. And I think everybody has got, it's important. Algorand does it with their green initiatives, of course. And we have picked right now the air pollution partnership. We're actually going through a couple different right now as we speak. And, we haven't, we want the team to kind of make sure that we all, are kind of in agreement as a team on who we pick and what we pick. And so the environmental side of it is that. So, but we've had a couple different conversations. One with like a Planet Watch type deal. Planet Watch is really big within Algorand, but nothing is done right now. But that's just the environmental theme is one that we've picked. It goes, that's the reason for the Ibble City theme with the clouds and the city, and it's all very thematically relevant.
It makes a lot of sense, because like yesterday, like I'm in Portland, Oregon, and we had the worst air quality yesterday. And so I'm noticing a trend every September through October, we just got fires and things like that. So that's what makes me interested in the air quality, because I'm living in it, and it was bad. I had to go back into the house last night and turn on all the stuff we need in our air. So it was crazy.
I'm actually living in the Netherlands, and probably you'd think the Netherlands would be good in air quality, but we're not. There's really a lot of pollution inside the air. And actually today there was a release on a paper for health for kids, and that we have one of the highest numbers of asthma among kids, and that's because of this pollution that we're getting. So yeah, things like that are really important. And just to add to what Quinn said, if some of you have read our light paper, which is up on our website, you'll notice that Trustable isn't the only product that we're aiming for. Yes, we're focusing on that right now, but we'll have different products that come out later. We already alluded to something called collectible and shareable, and then connectable, all labels.
That's right.
But each one of those will get their own environment, so to speak, in our little metaverse, and all of those will have different themes as well, and different initiatives attached to them. Because we do feel that it's nice to be in this tech-savvy world. We do have to live in this real world as well, and it's our job to take care of that.
Yeah, sort of as an incubator for other ideas, but there's a huge but too. And that but is that we've got to deliver on our private key, recovery solution first, and really make sure that the team is all hands on deck on that, and not be distracted. But there are things that are being incubated, but we just have to focus right now on, adoption and growth and really relevancy as well. But yeah, there's a lot of other things brewing for sure.
Absolutely. And speaking on adoption and growth, we have Bad Taxi tuning in the chat, but I screen grabbed some questions that he asked a little while ago. So let's get some of those answered, because it kind of leads into some of what we were talking about with the growth aspect. So how many NFTs are left on the Algorand network, the Ibble City NFTs? And then how has the reaction been from the other chains that you're trying to reach out to? I know you're trying to reach out to Polygon, Solana, a couple other chains as well. And then what are you going to do to gain more traction and involvement with those other chains?
Yeah, let me jump in. Chris, maybe look up the balance on what's left on the NFTs, but yeah, the other chains, and by the way, we're very agnostic, of course. Algorand is our core, and we've enjoyed getting to know everybody at Algorand and the foundation, including all the newer people as well. But so relationships are important to us, and that's exactly what we're doing with Polygon, and getting on Polygon DeFi spaces and Polygon Studio spaces, which we've been on. Really, just telling our narrative, telling our story, building relationships with everybody, deep and wide. Head of DeFi, Hamza Khan, head of growth, Arjun. Really everybody, including a group called Polygon ID, which was there's several different companies that make up Polygon ID. We thought they were at one time one of our biggest competitors, but in talking to them, we have opportunities to work with them closely, kind of from a middleware type solution standpoint. So, it's just kind of sheer grit and rolling up your sleeve and building these relationships. The same with Solana. There's people out there, Ben Sperong, I guess, trying to reach out of him, the head of DeFi, but just really, telling our narrative, make sure that that messaging is very clear and, and concise, and that there's sheer, value that's being portrayed there. And we really haven't, really, everybody has embraced it, and everybody is understanding the importance of asset protection and a peace of mind. So yeah, in order for us to have true, real enterprise value as a company, we have to go across those other chains. So it's influencer based, it's finding the use, of the other chains as well, the JTs, the C-Wills, the cryptos, and really, working all those angles, and eliciting and soliciting support from them, obviously Discord, and then heavy relationship and shows.
Yeah, and just to add on to how many of them are left, we had the Green Series one that sold out on Algorand, and I don't have the actual current numbers, but yesterday there was about 1,900 of each, around the 2K mark left on the Algorand chain. But looking at last week, there's about 400 of them were sold, and what we're seeing is that 99% of the NFTs that are sold are new NFTs that are sold, and there is also slowly getting a market for people that want to collect the first one that's sold out, and those are going for higher prices. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's really going naturally. We have a lot of our Able City holders that are influencing and talking to their friends, explaining what we do, and sometimes even explaining better than us what the value is of the project. And we're really grateful for them. And it feels like the community is really coming together naturally this way. Which I, as a head of a community, like. I like this organic growth. Obviously, we want to go fast, but we want to have good, strong roots as well.
And we want to balance too. We got the Iblers, the 1 through 7ers, and those are the 6 and 7ers on our Discord are kind of the whales, not whales as in spending millions of dollars, of course, but those that have a true vested interest. But it has to be a good balance between those Able City kind of core ambassador groups, as well as those newbies that are coming in, the normies that are coming in that want to understand what we're doing. So we have to kind of weight that appropriately and balance it so that we're doing, we're increasing the Iblers, but also getting all the new folks as well and educating them.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I'm a level 6 Ibler currently. I do have a question actually on that point. Do you know how many level 6s and level 7s there are currently? I don't know, and I know that's probably not a huge number because there can only be technically like 250 level 7s and probably even less than that. But do you know the numbers offhand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do actually, and it doesn't also not the final numbers because we do have Iblers that are not coming to our Discord to verify them, but the ones that have verified that we know that have enough to be 6 and 7 in the wallet. There's 27 of them currently, and there's 36 that are in the 3 to 5 group. And there's almost 70 that are in the 1 to 2 group. I'm actually seeing it increase as I speak. I see one being added. So that's great. Welcome to Able City if you're watching.
Yeah, I'll say I have a few of them as well. Not a level 6 or a 7, more probably like a level 2 or something like that.
Did you verify?
No, I haven't. Glenn told
See?
me that I've been there. I haven't done it yet. So I'm another person that's just out there.
Yeah, and we see that, and we see people sometimes picking up even more than 64 of them. All good, but we do want to have a broad audience. So yeah, there will be a couple of 6 and 7s, but there will be more of the 1 and 2s, and we're already seeing a pyramid forming.
Fantastic.
JT tell Seawell what he's missing by being in this kind of high altitude air of being in 6 and 7.
Yeah, I mean it's exclusive, so you definitely should join the club. No, just kidding. Do whatever your heart desires. But we do have John asking a great question that leads into what we were just talking about, and I believe this was a recent change that you guys made as well. So the question is, will these always be 120 algo? And then looking at this recent graphic, it does actually look like the prices increase as Vendable, goes through these various stages. So could you speak to, why you designed it this way? I'll just leave it at that, actually.
Yeah, we started at 120. It's a good question, John. We wanted to make sure that $40 or so US was achievable, but as I said earlier, we want to treat these as kind of the kind of having it more of an investment and an appreciation thing, and then going to 240. These are all kind of incremental, consistent tiers at 240, 480, and 960. But it's just meant to grow with us as we hit more thresholds with our testnet, with opening sourcing, and then going to mainnet. And again, it's just it's meant that we want people to learn, to grow with us and to be part of the journey and to really buy into our story and what we're doing. Hence the reason for for those gradual increases. So that's kind of what we were thinking about there.
Yeah, and still with the increases, we're the first wave of people that went in at the bare minimum of information, and now we're adding on to it. We'll be releasing the white paper. We'll be open sourcing the code. So more and more information comes out, which should give a bit more peace of mind. So I think it's not strange that the value is increasing, but we'll see how it goes. I still think that even at the higher prices, there's a good story to tell about the value that you get. You get 70 free protection accounts with the IBL key. If you count that with the $7 pricing that Quinn mentioned, that's about $490 worth of value annually. So what are we even talking about then? But people should make up their own minds. It's not financial advice by any means. Do your due diligence, read up on us, talk to the other IBLers, question us on everything, please. And then if you're happy, join in. If you're not, fair game.
I have some follow-up questions, right? Can we talk about audits, security, and your team? Who's on the team? How many people? And then where y'all at in your phase of audits and security for the trustable?
Yes. So right now we have 14 on the team. Some of those are a couple of those are part-time, but it's literally a global team of developers in Venezuela, cryptographer in Turkey, chief architect from Turkey who lives in England. We've got Chris and Camelia in the Netherlands. We have Matthew, business development in New York, and Tiffany in DC, head of communications, marketing. Doug and I are here in Memphis. So yeah, the team is, I know there's a couple others, but the team is really kind of, rock solid, and they are all, certainly buying into, to what we're doing, of course. And that's really, our kind of our biggest asset to execute, because we're not producing vaporware, we're producing concrete results. And I think Algorand wants to see that, as well as others. So, we're a team of entrepreneurs and really seasoned, business people that have got a lot of expertise in corporate America, angel investing, building products, selling products in Web 2 and Web 3. So yeah, I'm really bullish on the team, in a major way. The audit process, I know I was talking to Headline about this recently, and with different auditing firms, the Intersofts and the Certics and all that. And I think the approach there, yes, we will talk to those people. Obviously, price sensitivity is there, because I've talked to several people who have spent not millions, but a lot on doing an audit, and the price points are very expensive. And but we like the kind of the community audit and kind of bounty approach and reward on that. So that's kind of our position right now. We will have to look at that more closely, Will, to your question. But right now it's kind of about community rewards, community bounties, community audits, poke holes through what we're doing, because we have people that are ready to invest with us, but they want to make sure that as we open source, that everything's flawless. And but anyway, that gives you a little bit of perspectives and background on team and audits. Chris, you might want to elaborate on that community audit side too.
Yeah, so just to give you background, we do have a couple of people on the team that have a big security background, so we're very cautious ourselves. But obviously, you can't audit yourself. It's always helpful if another pair of eyes look. So one of the things that we did is put up a responsible disclosure agreement. So if people find something, they know how they can how to deal with that situation, how to provide that information to us. There are rewards involved. So we do like that part of it. Besides that, we'll also have partners in the industry looking at each part of the tech. So whether that be the cryptography side or the web hosting side, or every element that's in between, down to the protocol level.
You're kind of breaking up on us, Chris, a little bit.
Sorry, where did you lose me?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
You're muted, JT.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that was a little staticky, but no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I do want to ask a question that's goes back to what we were just talking about with the Ven token, the NFTs, and all of that. Are there any regulatory concerns? Because I know it's very uncertain depending on what jurisdiction you're in, whether you're operating in the U.S. or operating abroad. So are there any regulatory concerns about any of these products being labeled as securities moving forward in the future? And how much consideration and legal counsel have you guys sought in that for that discussion?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a crystal ball on the regulatory,
Right.
side of things. And I mean, our attorney, and when we with our token offering that we did with our investors when we raised our seed round and our private round. And by the way, the entity for our token fundraise is a Reg S BVI deal, British Virgin Islands, and our investors all sign that, and they're smarter than we are on certain legal and regulatory and security issues, because that's what they do. They invest in companies, and that's Borderless, that's Woodstock, that's Big Brain Holdings, that's NGC and Bixen out of China. So they signed our Reg S BVI contracts, no problem. Our attorney is based out of Memphis, Jackson Hole, in Washington, D.C., and he was the one that really created and advised the Wyoming DAO, which was the first DAO in the U.S. And so we really trust his judgment, and we look to him for direction on that as part of, as well as, regulatory matters. We don't have the resources to hire lobbyists. We're not lobbying,
Right.
DC as well, but it's probably not a bad idea. But yeah, we're really we want to do things, by the book, and but we can't live in doubt and uncertainty and inaction. And so that's why it's always great to talk to different people about what they're hearing. But yeah, I mean, we have our company, and then we have our Reg S BVI, and any sort of, even JT, if you're asking on the regulatory side as well, on verification and biometrics, obviously on FIDO is very, by the book with how they do it. If there's ever an issue with regulatory or AFLAC flags and all that, then, we look to them for that direction too. So, hopefully that gives you some perspective. Don't have a crystal ball, but we're very aware that we have to do things in the right way.
Yeah, it seems.
Yeah, and
oh, go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead.
I'm just
okay.
It seems like everyone is heading to the islands or heading overseas just based on the uncertainty of US's, regulations. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we did have this particular question from some of the community members as well that are holding NFTs and that will be getting DAO rewards. And how to handle that? Yeah, it depends on whether you're in the US or some of us are over here in Europe, where I am. But we are looking into perhaps having an expert session with our attorney for our Iblers that are in that situation further down the road, obviously, just to let his light shine on what the current set of regulations is to his knowledge. So we're aware of those concerns within the community, and we try to do what we can. But obviously, as Quinn said, we don't have lobbyists, we cannot change the law, so we just have to move into a direction and do that with as much information as we have, and we feel that we're moving into the right direction.
And we can educate and influence in any way we can, but we also have to build our business. But yes, Will, right. Any thoughts on where we should go, if not US? I know there's people going to Portugal. I know.
I'll say go to Portugal is high on my list. I'm trying to make my way out there. And then the islands, man, Jamaica, Barbados, any of those islands are the places to be, and that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, I think my wife, I used to live in Australia, and I think my wife used to love, I mean, I used to rub in telling her about like Tahiti and Bora Bora. So that would probably be my first choice.
Bora Bora? Ooh, that would be nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I'm definitely loving all the islands, and the weather is great. Yeah, go ahead.
no, we're closing up on the hour, but just one last semi-serious question, which would be, you're on the light paper right now, working on the white paper. When will the public be able to view the white paper? And, I know it's a little bit after the testnet launches, but when does Vendible plan on open sourcing the Trustable product?
Yeah, the goal on that is halfway or so through the testnet process on the open source question. I know it's something that we obviously have to do. The community wants to see that. Algorand Foundation wants to see that. I know the Algorand Research Fellows are big proponents of that. They're the research and solutions team for Algorand Foundation. So right now it would be right around halfway through testnet. So if we open up testnet in next month or so, and it's just a question of how long do we keep testnet open for, but it'll be around, kind of around halfway through that process. And the white paper is very interesting. It's created a life of its own because we have spent so much time with it. And Algorand has our whole DID paper and our whole decentralized identity and foundation layer and everything that goes on with that, including all the math side of that. And what we really need to do and are thinking to do is to parse out the trustable side of the white paper. So instead of releasing a 150 to 200 page document, pushing to the community the trustable side of it with parts of the Vendible Labs piece of it, so it's more digestible and people can understand it. So it's getting close. We're really about there. It's just a matter of how we do it. Some of our investors would love it to see a white paper almost released kind of in chapters, if you will, or in part, so that it's easy to grasp and easy for people to understand it. But that's kind of what our thought is. It's imminent. It'll be this year for sure. I know we've been talking about it, and probably next month, but we just want to get it right, and we don't want to have to retract, and we want to make sure it's manageable, and that's kind of what we were thinking there.
Yeah, and at one point we were up to about 200 or so pages, right? So and it's all very math heavy stuff, so it doesn't really help to clarify, unless you're an expert that can create this yourself. Doesn't really help to clarify what we do for Trustable. So chaptering it up, making it so that it's readable, human readable and understandable is very important as well. But yeah, definitely should be coming this year, and we'll be previewing that within our Abler groups before that.
I love that term, human readable. All right. So this has been fantastic. I guess the last question to you all would be, where can people go to learn more about Vendible, get involved in the community, and learn more about all the various products we talked about today?
Yep. Go Vendable on Twitter, at Go Vendable on Twitter, www.vendiblelabs.com on our site. Obviously, we have Discord, we have testnet registration, and we'll get these links to everybody. So we really want to keep pushing testnet registration too. So yeah, those are we're across all. We're across building on LinkedIn. Tiffany, our head of community marketing and community, even did a TikTok post recently to try that medium out to see.
Oh, I saw that actually. Yeah.
Yep, to see what sort of engagement we can get there as a test.
I believe she was in the live chat earlier.
Okay, good. Awesome. Yeah. But yeah, those are our channels.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, Sibyl, do you have any other questions for our guests before we depart here today?
Yeah. Y'all have a FIFA team?
That is that's Chris, I don't know about you, but that's kind of a Doug thing. Doug does. I do not. I'm pretty agnostic. I'm still upset about the Braves losing in baseball, and I've been writing the Ole Miss Rebels NCAA football because we're 7-0 and undefeated in American football. So my loyalty's there right now. But when FIFA hits, I'll be a kind of a fair weather fan.
Right. Yeah. And I'm Dutch, so obviously I know true football, which isn't American football. Sorry. So yeah, but so I do have a FIFA team.
Okay, that was my question. I'm just curious,
Yeah.
FIFA's coming up, so gotta ask.
Will Vendible be at Decipher?
Yep, we're still trying to figure that out. I know I've spoken with Autumn and Alexa about being on a panel. It's pretty expensive, and we just need to circle back up with those guys. But we really need to. We need to connect with you guys. We need to connect with Algorand Foundation, the new people, meeting John Woods in person, and Deirdre, and seeing Stacy and Silvio and all of them. And investors. So we need to be there. We just have to do the planning and to make sure it's not getting in the way with other partnerships too. But it's a long way away too.
Right.
But
right.
We know
Well,
we need to be there.
It's coming up quick. And you mentioned John Woods, so I just want to let everybody in the audience know that next week we're actually having John Woods on the show. So be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss the show. And Gwyn and Christian, this has been a fantastic episode, and I really appreciate you both taking the time out of your day to come on.
Thank you all. And just wanted to add a final note. I saw a lot of questions that didn't get answered in the chat yet. So we'll be going over all of those and answering all of those in the comments coming after. And JT, did we also have something of a surprise giveaway?
We got so distracted by all these questions, because I agree. I actually had probably 10 more. We could go for forever. Yeah. But yes, so we are teaming up with Vendible to give away 3 Ibble City NFTs, and I will be posting all of the rules to this giveaway on Twitter afterwards. So if you forget something I said or I didn't go in depth enough, just check Twitter. But essentially all you have to do is, not in the live chat, but in the actual comments of the video, comment your favorite part of the video. So this is open to everybody, not just the live chat people, but also people that come and watch, over the next couple of days. And as soon as Vendible, so of course you got to follow us on Twitter, you got to watch this video and comment with your favorite part, and we will draw the 3 winners as soon as Vendible hits 7,000 followers on Twitter, and as soon as the next block hits 1,200 followers on Twitter. So once those 2 metrics are made, we'll pick the best commenter, the best 3 comments under this video, and you'll win an Ibble City NFT.
Hey, let's go.
Cool.
And it's within reach too, by the way, JT. So thanks for making it within reach of a few hundred, 300, 400. It's not like it's 10,000 to get there.
Right. I don't want people waiting, a week or 2 or 3 weeks for this giveaway. So these are attainable goals. We're very close. We just want some community engagement, get some more people aware of it. So yeah, definitely comment your favorite part underneath this video. Go follow us on Twitter and go follow Vendible on Twitter if you aren't already. And thanks again, everybody, for joining in on the show.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Awesome. Take care, everybody. Till next week.
Sounds good. Bye.